Hello world, we are going to take a look at a concept that will help you reduce duplication of your Angular code. Think of this as a leveling up. Previously, when we were taking a look at the switch concept, we actually had to duplicate a couple of code blocks, so to speak. Like for example, here we have the skills duplicated and also we have the motto duplicated. But you may think that the easy way out of this is to simply create a component and you can call that component skills, and then you can create another component and call it motto. But what if I told you there was a way that you can actually streamline this? You can make this so easy just in your HTML. Think of this as reusable functions that you can call, but they are not functions, as you will see later on. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. So this concept that you're going to use is an Angular directive. So that means we need to import it into the scope of our app component. So we open our app component TypeScript file right here. And then we begin by adding into our imports, we add ngTemplateOutlet because it's what we'll be using. And then we can open this side by side right here. So far nothing it's broken, nothing has changed, everything is as it was before. All right, so we say that you are going to reuse some pieces of the UI. The first one is the motto and the other one are the skills. All right, so what I like doing, I add these reusable UI pieces at the bottom. So you can decide the approach that you see best, but I prefer like something that is shared. I move it at the bottom so that when someone is even like taking a look at the code, they can easily read it and understand it. So shared UI templates that are within the scope of this component only. They will not be available in your other HTMLs. They are going to be available in this app component HTML. So the first one that you are going to create is for the motto. So you begin by simply doing this. You create an ng template, okay? Then you give it a name, motto template. You can give it any name, but the important thing is this hash right here. Okay, then because we have said it will accept a value as well as a label, we need to pass this in the same way you call a function. Like in this case, for example, on card face change, we pass in the face. The same way we pass in the, I think of them as parameters. Yeah, so we define them like a let, you just say let label equals to label, right? And then let value equals to value. Okay. So you can just use them normally, the way you have the interpolation, like label and then value right there. Okay, so we say this. So far nothing breaks, so that is good. And then we go here and we said we will start with the basic. So for the basic, we are going to simply add it right here in the basic wrapper. Okay, we will just remove the whole of this, but let's just test the waters and see how things are. So to be able to use this ng template that we just created at the bottom, you begin by saying ng template. Then I want to give this template an outlet. All right, so ng template outlet. Okay, then you pass in the name for your outlet. Notice that here we have the hash, but then here we don't have the hash at the start. All right, so the hash simply tells this template that this motto template is a template variable that can be accessed within this template. So if we go here, so nothing breaks. So far so good, but let's break something. Let's remove this. We save. Nothing still breaks, so that is good, but it now breaks. And you notice that it is within the case of basic. So that tells you one thing: even if something seems to work, make sure that you test the edge case. Like in this case, we didn't actually get to see it at first glance, but when we actually moved to that part of code that is actually executed, that is when the error kicked in. All right, so let's just import this back in. We save it, then we go back to basic, and then we switch to back, and it's working as it was before. However, we don't yet see the values that we just passed in, the label and the value. That's because you notice that it doesn't even complain. It doesn't say like the values are required or something like that. So how do we pass in the values? We simply do this: ng template outlet context. All right, it's a context that you want this sorry, it's not supposed to be like that. It's a context that you want to pass in. And this context, as we said, it will have a label. Notice that you're passing it in as a dictionary, yeah, or an object, depending on which you are used to. So we're just passing it as a, let's say, an object, yeah. Then we pass in, let's say, maybe test label, and then you copy that, and then also for value, we paste it there. All right. So we have a context and we have an outlet. And now when we go to show back, then we switch to basic, we see something, test label and test value. So that's okay. Everything is working as expected. All right. So that is good. So let's just simply do this then, because everything else that is wrapped within a AutoCAD, they have the same style. So why not just move this piece of code? Let's start with this one. We copy it, and actually we just cut it. Then we come here and then we paste it there. Okay. Then we replace the values with the actual values like that. And then this one goes here, and then we save it. So we come back here, and then we open our basic once again, and it's test label and test value. So I believe it was, let's say we can give this a new name like basic motor, and then or let's just give it maybe, yeah, basic, or basic. This is your motor as a basic user. Okay, so let's save it, and then again, so it works. So that's good. So I encourage you to try the refactor for the rest, like for the advanced and also for the premium, and feel free to add others. All right. So we'll now jump over to the skills one. Okay, so for the skills, we see one common theme. They all have a label. They don't have like a value. They just have a label, which is a presentational, for example. Yeah, Python, Django, and so forth. Okay, so all we need to do is to start right here. ngTemplate. Okay, then we just say skills, template. Then we say let skills, which is an array. It will be like this. And now right here, we just need to loop through. All right. So we loop through our skills. We just copy this, we paste it here. And then because the wrapper is the same, the style doesn't change. It's just the structure and the logic that we are having. Then we remove this up to that point. Then we just loop using a for. We will be using the new syntax. So we'll say for skill of skills. Then we track the skill. Okay. Then inside it, we just interpolate, and then we say that. Okay, and then that should be that part. Then we go where we need to use it. We start right here, just ngTemplate, and then we just add our outlet. Okay, ngTemplate outlet equals to skills template. Then this one will also have outlet context. Okay, then the context that we are passing now, notice that it's a skills, so, and we are looping, so it should be an array. Okay, so it should be an array, and then this array, it will have all our skills. So we have that, then we also have Django, we have Angular, and then lastly React. Okay, then we can remove this, and then we can also, I believe we can remove this wrapper because it's used already here at the bottom. So we can just remove this. Okay, so we save it. All right, so it is in the advanced case. So we open and we show the back, and then we go advanced, and then everything is as it was before. So that is good. So as you see, it's so easy to refactor and to reuse UI pieces. Let me just do the refactor for the rest, even if I told you to actually do it on your own. And then after the refactor, we will revisit once again, and we will see like how beneficial this is. All right, so the changes are done. And so let's think about this for a minute. Notice one thing, like now things are very, very organized. First of all, if for example, tomorrow you decide and you say, we need like a logo beside maybe the premium motto, like here we need a premium logo. Then for the advanced, we need an advanced logo, and so forth and so forth. That means that in the original version, the changes would have to be made on like all those places, like in the basic, in the premium, and in the advanced. But now all we need to do is to simply pass in, maybe let's just get practical, but you're not going to implement anything. Just select path to the logo, or let's call this logo, and then this one we simply maybe add it right here, like as an image. Okay, so you can clearly see that this way it is going to be easy for you to maintain also the classes. Yeah, the classes that you're working with. For example, if you want to add utility classes, you just need to add them in one place, and you don't need to duplicate them in the whole of your HTML. So we can remove this, and then we can remove this also. We save it, and everything is okay. All right. So we have reached the end of this session. So always remember that you stop growing when you stop learning. And what you learn, go forth and teach others that you may grow together. And with that, until the next one.